case management process since 2022 all the way to this point in time, we were able to exit 1.4 million families who have reached what we call level 3 or self-sufficiency. These are based on case management tools. So that's why bumalik kami sa, at this point in time, we're at 3 million. Kasama na rin ho doon, one, attrition, natural attrition, yung wala na silang mga anak that meets the compliance requirements, no more school-age kids. Meron rin ho kami doon na, now, that's for the first part, kung bakit ho tayo bumalik sa 3 million. Second, if you look at the disbursement rate, kaya nag-iiba-iba siya, if you're referring to it, it's compliance-based. Sometimes, some of the families will not be able to comply, so they don't get their grants uniformly over the pay periods. Now, going back to the question on poverty, well, just to go back on the first slide, but hindi kami nakakabalik sa 4.4 million. One, we don't have a targeting tool anymore. Listahanan is too old and we are not allowed to do any more new listahanan. We're waiting for CDMS, which has been due since January for all government programs, as a matter of fact. Without CDMS, we're flying blind. We already got the first chunk of it early part of this month, and then we're due to get the last part of it come end of the month of September. So we have to look at the CDMS, hopefully find new poor there, poor that's not part of the program. Now, you are correct, Madam Chair, Honorable Senator. When I met the President, ang agreement po namin is not to use the 4.4 that's stated in the Philippine Development Plan. Nandun lang mo kasi natatagpuan yung 4.4 million na bilang na household. He wants it to synchronize with the poverty statistics. So if you look at the poverty statistics, you're correct, that's 2.9 million families. So we're right there right now at 3 million. But if you do the rough math, of course, I shouldn't be doing this, but just to give a simplistic computation, there are 17.5 million poor Filipinos. If you divide that by an average of 5, it will yield you something like 3.5. So the gap now is around 500,000 families. But we can't move forward until we get the complete data set from CDMS kasi nga, we need to know who are these new poor who are these poor that's not part of 4Ps.
Because if we will use the 3 million versus what is allocated right now, about 112 million, we can actually save around 30 million, no? 35 million to be exact, if we remove that 1 million from that 1.4 million from that 4.4. So ang punto ko, we're allocating 112 million for 4.4, but in reality, there are only 3 million families. So overstated in budget by 35 billion pesos. That 35 can be used for other programs, such as increase in AIC, such as the solo parents, the case management. So we're looking at efficiency in terms of allocating resources. And if you are overstating the number of families, sayang lang, naglalagay tayo ng 112, pero hindi naman natin magagamit yung 112 billion. So gamitin na lang natin sa ibang programa. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Madam Chair, on an onset top line, it looks like that. In fact, I've had numerous discussions with the DBM Secretary na 20 to 30 billion ang elbow room. But a couple of points I want to raise. One, again, we're looking at a 3.5 to 3.4 data set, not 3 million. Kasi if there's 17.54 based on the FIES 2023, 17.54 poor families, if you divide that by 5, that's around 3.5 million families that should be enrolled. That's one. But I cannot do that rough math like that. I have to wait for CDMS and hopefully draw out the poor data na sana bumagsak within the range of 3 million to 3.5 million.
But is it correct to say that the 112 billion allocated, it's overstated? We're over-projecting because we don't have 4.4 million families. We only have 3 million families, 3 million poor families. Therefore, we over-projected by about 35 billion.
Okay, Madam Chair, it's very difficult for us to, it's not over-projected. Why? We don't have the data set of CDMS at this point in time. As I mentioned, I used the word flying blind. If we slash that and then bumalik yung CDMS at lumabas na 3.5 or 4 million pa rin ang poor based on the toximins test or the new data set, then we'll have arrears again to carry. Kasi we're duty bound in fact, the four-piece law clearly states to use the most current targeting tool. So we're waiting for that targeting tool. And that's why since January, I've been a firm person that keeps on warning that the government has to fast-track the CBMS because that's our only way. I cannot tell you right now na overstated. I can tell you na for the best of our ability, we need that data set so that we know kung may sasobra or kukulang.
The PSA will come here for their budget and will urge them to come out with CBMS. I know that the new tool is the CBMS. Yan yung new tool na gagamitin ng DSWD. But that's an important tool because one tool can save us 35 billion pesos. No? So might as well fund that tool para we will know exactly how many poor families and we can save. No? So potentially, if you look at the data, potentially there's overstatement. No?
But again, Madam Chair, we have initial data from PSA. They gave us 3 million household. They still owe us around 2 million of that data set. But off the get-go lang, they have defined 3 million to be poor and non-poor, near poor from their initial data set. So 3 million na kaagad. And the biggest fear ng department, and I'll state it for the record, and this happens, if we get our four-piece beneficiaries, we hit it against their list at merong exclusion. And it happens during saturation drives, 20 to 30%. So that's why, to simply state it, top line na divide ko yung number of poor individuals by 5, tas yun na yung poor families, is oversimplifying it, and we're scared to do that because what if na the actual CBMS data comes in and mas malaki siya? Then now we will have an IOU na napakalaki sa ating mga beneficiary. We will be depriving them of what they are entitled to.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll have a few more questions, but I'll do it on the second round so that we can give the others a chance.
Let's accommodate Senator Lauren. You have the floor. Very much, Madam Chair and Chairman of the Committee on Finance. Pinapanood ko sila, naiisip ko kung sino ang mas magaling magkasing-galing yung magkapatid. No, in all fairness to the Chair, he interpolates the head of the agency as if hindi niya kapatid. No, I like that. I was really clearly observing. But again, I have to say it like it is. Nakikita ko yung hirap ng DSWD at saka natutuwa ako, naghahanap sila ng paraan. What do I mean, Mr. Chair? Dapat ilagay ito sa on record. Kasi, ang palaging problema na nakikita ko, kasi very local ang aking approach, which is how you operate, ay kulang ng mga implementers on the ground, what you call them, those who are plantilla, or who have the accountability to the agency, pag may maximum lang na amount, nag-aantay yung mahihirap, hindi ba? Napopostpone minsan yung payout because the different ways of securing the funds for the AX payout nag-over the ceiling or over the maximum amount. You have various ways. First, your own funds, but what the disbursing officer has a maximum, and then you also have a MOA with land bank, but sometimes naging maximum ito, nag-max din siya, no? So, why am I bringing this to our attention? First, nakikita ko, Mr. Chair, hindi to sip-sip ha, hindi ako mingi extra, hindi. Gusto ko lang sabihin na maparaan sila, yung legal na paraan, na dati, wala naman yung MOA with land bank, pero ginawa na nyo. But my question is, how do you solve the disbursing officers are limited number of people, di ba? Konti lang sila. Pangalawa, meron silang ceiling. Siyempre naman, hindi naman unli yan. At pangatlo, effective ba yung MOA nyo with land bank or meron pa bang ibang pamamaraan para sa lalong madaling panahon, basta kwalipikado at vetted ang mga beneficiaryo sa AX at least, hindi kailangan magtagal dahil walang disbursing officer. Mr. Chair, yeah.
Mr. Chair, Madam Senator, first of all, thank you for the acknowledgement of the hard work our people put on the ground. Talagang 24/7 na yung lalo na sa CIU, sa Crisis Intervention Unit ho namin. Again, you've pointed out numerous interventions we've done, yung land bank, it helped. Can you imagine, Mr. Chair, kung wala yun, mas malaki pa yung mga nadi-displace na payout schedules. So that helped. So since we're coming into the new year, we are asking Land Bank to increase the ABC of what they are bidding out. That service kasi is a bidded out service ng Land Bank. So we're expanding the ABC so that we can do more payouts through that conduit. Yung when they bid, that's the minimum price. That's a budget ceiling. Yeah, kasi we gave them something na ubos na, as you pointed out, na exhaust. So we're telling them you might have to add more para mas maraming cashier. So basically, we're farming out our cashiering service to them.
I'm saying that because sa tingin ko, no, and I've been here for so long, sa lahat ng programa ng gobyerno, tawag natin soft, na ayokong tawaging ayuda, na tumutulong sa tao, ang pinaka-popular or nagagamit na talagang halos walang korupsyon ang tingin ko, or wala talaga, ay AIX. Parang ito yung napaka-useful sa medical, sa burial, sa financial, ang dami talagang natutulungan. Kaya lumalaki ang inyong pondo. Kaya nag-amend ang mga legislators na hindi masama mangyari. Kaya nga ang inyong net palagi lumalaki, di ba? At siguro natin talagang maayos ang pamamalakad na basta walang intervention, syempre, ng lawmakers, pinipili ng DSWD yung mga beneficiaryo talaga. So, kung lumalaki ang universe ng sineserve ninyo na mahihirap, ay maliban sa land bank, ano pa ang ibang pamamaraan para mapalawak at mapabilis ang serbisyo sa mahirap?
Well, two more things, Mr. Chair. One, we have a pending request sa DBM for more regularized positions for crisis intervention. Kasi remember, the disbursing officers has to be a certain type of employee. Hindi siya pwedeng contract of service. Most of the time, they're regulars. So that's our first step. Second, I think we're the only department, and it's a dangerous precedent, na yung mga contractual namin nakakakuha ng waiver sa COA to allow them to become special disbursing officers din. Kami lang ata ang may ganun. And in effect, it's a bad precedent. Kasi wala naman kaming direct employee-employer relationship that's long-term. Pero because nga we're looking for ways, so we've resorted to a hybrid mechanism wherein Land Bank does the payouts for us. We just do the vetting and the clearing. The second one will be adding more positions. It's pending with DBM right now, and we're lobbying hard to get them. And three, we will continue to ask for waivers for our contractual employees to become special disbursing officers. Kasi the only way to meet the growing demand is to increase the universal of special disbursing officers as well.
I'm referring not only to AIX, but my favorite SLP. And I think it was a favorite also it was mentioned by former Secretary, now Senator Erwin Tulfo. So I'll go to that question now on the Sustainable Livelihood Program. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, in a previous Congress, I even filed a measure to institutionalize the SLP. Because what if in the future, merong secretary na ayaw ito? Nawawala in program because it's only a program. So I would like to institutionalize the SLP because for me, it's even more effective than AIX. While AIX is like band-aid and it's emergency situation, nandyan. Pero ang SLP, binibigyan mo ng puhunan o ng tulong at nakakaroon siya ng maliit na pagkakakitaan, hindi ba? Pero napansin ko, ang inyong SLP ay bumaba. In 2024, you assisted SLP 270,376 households, 91% of target. By 2025, nag-drop kalahati, 104,645 or 39%. I hope these figures are not accurate. And for 2026, the target has been reduced further to 179,088 households, despite a 4.49 budget. So I'd just really like to know why has the program's actual coverage declined from the 2024 figures I said and the 2025? So why is it difficult to implement. But I think at least in the province where I come from, in Antique, SLPs